Battlefield 5 can take some time to get used to, especially if you're new to the franchise or dipping your toes back in after some time away. It's not the same beast as previous entries in the series, and features a lot of gameplay elements that are unique to this title. So, with that in mind, I thought it'd be worthwhile to throw together some tips to help you and your squad out in multiplayer. I went into depth on this point in my previous Battlefield 5 video, Death of the Lone Wolf, but in Battlefield 5 it's even more important than ever to stick with your team. Each person has a role to fill and something to offer the team beyond just racking up kills and trying to shoot down aircraft. Assaults are going to be best at toppling fortifications and stopping vehicles with their suite of explosives. Medics are more efficient at reviving fallen teammates and can keep the health of their comrades topped up with bandages and first aid crates. Supports are best at building cover and defenses to establish a point of strength for the team, as well as supplying everyone with oh so valuable ammo and laying down blankets of suppressing fire with emplaced weapons and bipod mounted machine guns. And recons can do more than just take the heads off advancing enemies with a rifle. Since the changes in the spotting mechanic in Battlefield 5, their spotting scope and flares are now a hugely valuable tool to provide the squad with actionable intelligence on enemy player locations. And a sneakily placed spawn beacon can also allow a squad to keep up a strong flanking attack or provide a fallback point when the squad is down. Remember, the way to win Battlefield games is to PTFO, play the f***ing objective. And while sticking alongside your team and working as a cohesive unit might not give you the best chance to get those sick 300-meter headshots from one end of the map to the other, it will keep you in the thick of battle, and more importantly, give you the best chance to win the game. An extra bonus to this is that you'll be earning additional requisition points. Work together and you'll be launching those V2s in no time. If you've played Battlefield 5, you'll know the familiar sting of seeing a medic or squad member close to you and screaming out for a revive, only to be greeted with a respawn screen instead. Now, this isn't to defend those absent-minded medics whose adrenaline syringes seem to be about as useful as a chocolate teapot, since they never bloody take them out of their bag, but more to encourage thoughtfulness when it comes to picking up your pals. If there's a higher chance of you getting shot during the revive rather than actually saving someone, then as morbid as it is, it might be best to leave your comrade to their fate. Use your time to distribute bandages, throw down some smokes, build a barricade, or even pick someone else up instead. If you're dead set on getting someone up though, you can notify them of your intent by hitting your mark button on their distraught, flailing form. But bear in mind, if your buddy just got domed by a sniper and they're out in the open, maybe don't rush to revive them. If someone is screaming for help and machine gun fire is already cracking into the cover you're hiding behind, it might be wise to stay put. We all want to play the hero and save our mates, but if a revive attempt will get you killed, it's not worth it. Wait out the seconds, let them respawn on you, and then take the fight together. It'll save respawn tickets and a lot of time hammering the spawn button. There'll be some moments in Battlefield 5 where you unlock a weapon and the first time you use it, it'll have the handling of an upset fish. Don't be dissuaded by this, your experience with the weapon will improve as you use it more. I've seen people dismiss great weapons in the game because, admittedly, they're a bit pants when you first get them. But after a few rounds and a handful of kills, you'll start to unlock specializations with them, which changes how they feel and how effective they are. Put some thought into the weapons and your playstyle. If you prefer to stand and shoot, then you can make your weapon work better in those scenarios. If, like me, you're a bit of a run and gun player, then you can make sure your weapon is more responsive in quicker close combat. Medics, you can make your bullet hose SMGs perform better at hip firing. My point is, don't dismiss that sexy new unlock because the first few rounds. Let your new rifle grow in you and develop and unlock some more specializations before giving in and going back to the Sturmgewehr. I believe in you. I'm done. Fighting together is imperative on the battlefield, so being able to actually communicate effectively can turn a group of ragtag soldiers into a fighting force of arse kickers and flag takers. Believe me, I understand that actually using voice comms with random folk that you're playing with can be a little intimidating, and I know your parents probably said don't talk to strangers on the internet, but last time I checked, my mum was really shit at Battlefield, so I'm not taking her advice on this subject. Actually using your voice saves you the need to keep spamming the spot button on an enemy tank's location to try and draw attention to the steel beast. Instead, you'll be able to give clear and concise information. Where it is, where it's looking, if it has a top gunner, if it's taking damage, and so on and so on and so on. It seems obvious, but it's surprising how much I group up with a random squad and still feel a little isolated. But even if they're not talking back, sharing information that you have can help everyone out. If someone is getting flanked or about to enter a building full of enemy troops, let them know. We're not actually in a time of loose lips sink ships anymore. Chat to your squaddies. Not only will it help you work better as a team, but there's been some wonderful moments where I've made friends with that badass medic who dragged my ass up and got me back into the fight. If you expect your squad to fight and die for you, they're at least worth a hello, right? Vehicles don't feel like the game-changing tools they used to in previous Battlefield games. While I remember keeping an M1 Abrams alive for entire games in Battlefield 3, you have to be a bit more tactical with tanks and planes in Battlefield 5. Tanks really need a little support from the folk trudging through the trenches alongside them. With their turret turn speed being as slow as it is, covered gunners having limited firing arcs, and top gunners basically sitting in a chair that says, "Shoot here." Being a good teammate can really keep your team's engines running by being the soldier that keeps the enemy's heads down. If your tanks are taking Panzerschreck shots to the sides, then try to push the cheeky assaults firing them. If you've spotted mines on the ground, then disarm them with grenades or gunshots. If your squad vehicle is taking fire, spawn on it as a support and give it a little touch-up. Or even if your bombers in the sky are taking flak fire or are struggling against dogfighting Spitfires, do your best to disable any ground guns or enemy planes that are harassing your larger aircraft. Helpful infantry can really keep those ace pilots and tank drivers ticking along, which means that they can in turn help you out by crunching armor and leveling buildings filled with enemies. Hopefully they return the favor next round once you manage to actually get a turn in the cockpit. So those are a few tips that should help you wage a more effective war in Battlefield 5. I'm by no means the best squad leader out there, so if you have any pro tips of your own that you want to share, feel free to drop them in the comment section below or find me on Twitter @IrregularDave. And if you ever see me on the battlefield, I'd appreciate it if you kept me topped up with ammo and didn't laugh at my awful flying skills. Thanks.
Oh,